Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. I came in today because I was reading a story that Bobby Brown's family is pitching a new reality show to the networks. Now, there is a trailer out there for this new reality show that they're wanting to do, and this trailer is about 5 minutes long. And I watched it, and I must say that I think that they're going to get this reality show. What they're wanting to do is they want to show Bobby Brown's family, and they want you guys to, I guess, get some knowledge of who Bobby Brown comes from, where he comes from, and the family that loves him. Now, when I watched the trailer, and you guys, I will try to put a link for that trailer, down in below my video. But when you watch the trailer, you realize that, there is some dysfunction in their family, but they love each other. And from watching the trailer, what I found out is that they're going to address all of the issues that occurred, with the death of Whitney Houston and then the death of Bobby Kristina. From what I'm understanding and what I read about it, this camera crew followed the Brown family for the last 3 years. So, that is going to include a lot of things. And with Bobby Brown always being accused of being, the worst thing that ever happened to Whitney, I think that it's time for him to be able to tell his side of the story. Now, when I was reading all the information about this new show that they want to do, it says that Bobby hasn't put his final stamp of approval, and I'm not even sure if he's going to appear in all of, the episodes, but it is his family. So I am looking forward to it. I must say that I was years ago one of those people who stood on Whitney's side and thought Bobby did this, that, and the other. But as I grew older and I started, maturing myself, I realized that Bobby couldn't do anything to Whitney that Whitney didn't allow to happen. I believe that they were both, at fault in whatever happened in their relationship. They were both doing drugs. We now know that Whitney was more than likely doing drugs before she met Bobby. Now, I said in one of my videos, I believe that Bobby probably just messed around with weed and, maybe a couple other things. But I am now believing that Bobby was not on hard drugs until he got with Whitney. And I believe that Whitney was probably doing cocaine. And maybe when Bobby got with her, he was, he started to lace his weed with whatever, whatever they started to do together. But honestly, I am interested in hearing Bobby's side of the story. Also, Bobby's family member, the one who is Leola Brown, that has a problem with Pat Houston. Now, in one of my other videos, I explained that I thought that Pat Houston was overstepping her bounds. And one thing that I had saw I think this is Bobby's sister or cousin or something, Leola Brown. One thing that I liked that she said when it came to Nick Gordon and Pat Houston, something Leola said is that if Whitney was alive, Whitney would not approve of some of this. And she says that she knew Whitney and she knew, what Whitney thought of, I guess some of the things that were going on with Nick Gordon and Pat Houston. And I guess she knows that Whitney would not have approved of it. So y'all, I am so interested. And it's kind of sad that we're still, you know, beating this thing to death when Bobby, Christina, and Whitney are now gone. But the reason why I think that the show should be done is because even though in the beginning I didn't like Bobby Brown, you know, I was one of those again that thought he was the worst thing. But I think Bobby deserves the right to clear his name in some of the things that he was accused of. When I watched him sit down with Robin Roberts and he broke down when he was talking about, you know, the death of Bobby Christina, one thing that I got from that is no matter who Bobby is with, I believe that Whitney and Bobby were the love of each other's lives. You know, I believe that all those years, those two people truly, truly loved each other. They had their problems. We all know that. And then they, you know, they eventually divorced. But I think both of them went on, but they never found the love that they had with each other. And I truly believe that. I just wish that when they were together, they could have been better together because they truly, truly loved each other. And with Bobby now getting a chance to tell his side of the story, I guess outside of the shadow of Whitney. You know, when Whitney was alive, you know, whatever Bobby said, people kind of turned their lips up because there was always Whitney's side, you know, basically saying that whatever he said, you know, was a lie or this, that, and the other. So now Whitney is gone and he is out from under her shadow. And I might not agree again with everything that he has done in his life, but what I will say is I think that this man deserves the right to tell his truth. Now, we may not agree. He may have, you know, his own vision of the truth, and Whitney may have had hers. But I truly believe that he was not wrong in everything. You know, it takes two. And he doesn't have that thing now where someone is beating him over the head saying, but Whitney is the biggest star and blah, blah, blah. He now has a chance, you know, after he's matured and grown up and lost the love of his life and lost now his daughter. You know, this man, I don't care what anybody thinks of him, this man lost a lot. And I think that every time that Bobby thinks about, you know, everything that happened between him and Whitney and Bobby Christina, I think it is hurting him to his core. When I'm telling you, when I watched him on that Robin Roberts interview, actually my heart went out to him. Because imagine when he lays down at night after, you know, Whitney died and then his baby died, after she laid there all those months, you know, just in a coma, and he watched her slowly slip away. I believe that that for him was the last straw. And you know, he's older now, and you know how when you get older, you have the ability to look back on your life and admit some of your faults and things that you did wrong possibly. So again, I'm just hoping that they carry the show, that someone picks it up, because just after watching that trailer, I think they deserve the right to tell their story. And I don't think that there was so much division between Whitney and the Browns as we think it is. I think it was more division between the Browns and the actual Houston family, because it seems like that Whitney loved Bobby and she embraced his family. Now, you know, when you start to have problems with your man, both families, you know, the Browns and the Houston, are going to have something to say about it. You know, but I think that the Brown family, they thought of Whitney as their sister, their, you know, their sister-in-law, their daughter-in-law, their cousin-in-law, and they loved her. Despite what we think and what we may feel, I can tell by just the little snippets they had in that trailer that the Brown family loved Whitney. See, we forget that there was once upon a time that Whitney and Bobby were, you know, the king and queen of pop. You know, because she was so big, she brought him along for the ride. But once upon a time, Bobby was at the top of the charts. And, you know, sometimes we forget that, you know, he was this big star back in the day. And those two got together and, you know, again, they may not have been good for each other, but they loved each other. So, guys, I don't know when this show will ever come out, if these networks will pick it up, but just looking at the trailer, if it was me, I would do it, because they know that people are curious about what happened to Whitney, what was going on behind the scenes, what happened to Bobby Christina, what was going on behind the scenes. They're curious to know about what the Brown family feels about Nick Gordon, because Bobby made no bones about it. He believes that that man has something to do with the death of his daughter. And I trust Bobby on that. Bobby is a grown man. He's the father of a lot of kids, and he is a man. And I know that when Bobby and the families were in that room and Bobby Christina was laying there, those doctors had to tell him or show him something that made him believe that this boy has something to do with the death of his daughter. So with that, I'm going to end this story and then on to the next one. Okay, folks, this next story is about Ellen DeGeneres and Olympian Usain Bolt. So we all know Ellen from the Ellen Show. You know, she's silly, she does her pranks, and she's always cracking little jokes on her show. I think it's safe to say that Ellen is just a funny girl. Well, recently, she, I guess, was watching the Olympics, and you know, she saw Usain Bolt, you know, winning his medal, and she decided to do a meme and post it on Twitter. And her meme is saying, "This is how I am running errands from now on." Well, of course, Black Twitter does not play. So Ellen received a bunch of backlash over her tweet. Now, I look at it, and knowing Ellen, I don't think that she meant anything, you know, racist about it. Ellen is always doing little funny things. But I understand that Black Twitter is not here for anything that they believe that makes fun or puts a black person on a negative display. And they said that this is basically Ellen getting a piggyback ride off a black man, and basically they weren't for it. They wanted her to be respectful of this Olympian, and they just went in on her. So I would just like to know, you know, what you guys think of it. Did you think that Ellen was trying to be racist, or did you feel that she was doing what she normally does and basically, you know, taking a picture and, you know, recreating it and being the comedian that she is, making it a funny? Now, I'm just saying, I don't think she meant any harm, but I would be so curious to hear what you guys think of what she did. So with that, this is the end of my video, and you guys have a great day. Bye bye now.